as you can see, I'm up.
Rails. Where we're going, we don't need.
And
rails.
welcome to episode 82 of Ripping the Rack podcast, the longest-running weekly episodic podcast regarding Candlepin Bowling on the interwebs today. Maybe not tomorrow, but definitely today.
Definitely today.
Soon.
I'm going to call myself the host. I am the host of this show. My name is Tim. With me today, I'm going to start on my upper left. He is the king of the north, Mr. Calvin Locke.
Hello, everybody. How are we tonight?
How you doing, Calvin?
Good, buddy.
Oh, just banging. Watching Field of Dreams.
Is it actually Field of Dreams
You
today?
finally got it today?
No, I put it in. I put the DVD in because I was so upset yesterday.
What
Somebody
movie
got a
was that?
stern email. I don't know. It wasn't Field of Dreams.
It was definitely not.
It was a
Dreams,
sternly worded email. And
boy.
I want their job.
You went full Chad on
my let's see, on my lower right, could be on your upper right, could be on your upper left, he could be in the middle. I don't know where the hell he is on your screen, but on mine, he is the lower right. He is the Coastal Crusader. He's a mile from me. Mr. Brian Ather. Brian, how you doing, buddy?
I am great, Tim. How is everyone tonight? I got back from Exeter yesterday, the whole ride home, and didn't fall asleep.
Well, of
So,
course you couldn't. Somebody
Tim
was having a
kept
hissy fit in the fastest side.
No, the hissy fit was at the bowling alley, and we'll talk about that maybe.
It wasn't a true Tim Matero hissy fit.
Yeah,
I didn't kick a ball return. I didn't throw the balls. I didn't throw one overhand.
No, but that
Rob
shoe
would've killed
cover
you.
absolutely beat the hell out of that seat.
Yeah, and my glasses went flying too. I pulled a Charlie Mylan. Let's see.
They
And
go
on my
flying. They
lower,
hit me in the middle of the chest, keeping score.
well, I was gonna break them, but then I figured I'd throw it on the softest spot in the house. On my lower left, he is our masshole, Mr. Marky Pins. Mark Ritchie, how you doing, buddy?
Not too bad. How we doing tonight, guys? And young lady here in the chat as well. I can't just say, guys, what's going on this evening?
No, we just established she's old. We just talked about this.
She's younger than me, so you can piss off.
Okay.
True story.
So you're just ancient.
True story. So obviously we have a very special guest with us tonight, and by special I mean special. She is a multi-time state champion. She is a world champion, multi-time world champion, if I'm not mistaken. She holds many records. She has been a decorated softball, basketball, soccer star. She's one of my favorite people, Amanda Carroll. Amanda, how you doing?
I'm doing good. Thanks for having me.
What's up, kid? You didn't rehearse that intro, did you, Tim?
I actually did not. That was off the cuff.
Nailed it.
That like everything that I do on this show, I don't write shit down. I do everything off the cuff.
Since day one, and I can confirm.
He can. So we have a huge, and I mean huge agenda today. We had
the most amount of questions ever for a guest,
Yes.
and it just shows how much love the Candlepin community has for Amanda.
Oh,
Yes, and I weeded out all the hate mail, which mostly came from Calvin. So I weeded that out.
No. She's my favorte person to beat by 17 pins. It's my favorite. Like
you didn't beat her by 17.
17 pins. Thank you.
Your team won, Calvin. You might never have beaten Amanda.
Oh yeah.
Right.
Oh yeah.
That's actually a true statement. So let's actually start real quickly before we get into our conversation with Amanda. Let's talk a couple of quick tournament results. Just to let everyone know, we do have the Pro Series 3-person team event coming up at Exeter. And that is coming up Saturday, January 8th. I know the 1 p.m. is already full. He is taking signups for the 10 a.m. shift. This is an event where you have 5 strings of qualifying. They take the top 24, and you have randomly selected teams of 3. Cool event. It's a really fun event. That is, again, Saturday. Sign up. Give it a try.
I am. Even I'm doing it.
Good luck,
Even
big
Brian.
fella.
Even the big fella's doing it.
Maybe I'll.
Big
Maybe
booty
you should.
Brian.
I think you do well.
The 1
think you do
o'clock
very
shift
well.
is full, by the way,
Yes.
already.
Yes.
I can get up in the morning. I can't be up at 9:45 at night.
But here you are.
Don't mind me if I fall asleep.
That's okay. You should do it, Amanda. You would
Absolutely.
do very well. Well, I've seen you bowl at Exeter. You bowl well at Exeter. You bowl well anywhere. Let's put it that way. So I know there's that, and there's a couple other tournaments on Candlepin Chat that I don't know. My computer's not really working very well at the moment, so I can't even pull up Facebook to get that information. But I know Webster Lanes has one. Couple
There's
others.
Bob Allard's tournament, the Battle
Yeah,
of
we
the
need
thank
some
you,
more
Brian.
men. We got like 12 ladies now, so we need some more men for Bob Allard's tournament.
That is what the Battle of the Sexes
Yeah.
The 16th of January
Yeah, I
at
think,
Portsmouth,
in
right?
Portsmouth.
Okay.
I think the women are trying to prove something here.
I wonder where this came from.
Yeah, I wonder what happened. That women are just like, we are bowling in this battle of the sexes.
Feels like it's a southern breeze that blew in from down south.
Well, we won't go there. We've kind of stayed away from I'll call it the third rail of bowling.
That's an eloquent way to put it. Yes.
Yeah.
That's
Thank
a
you.
very eloquent way to put it.
Yeah.
Thank you, Calvin. You've got some results.
Yeah, Miranda had her team tournament this past Sunday. We have our results. Greg, Bert, Lisa, and Ray were the winners. Second place was Miranda's team. Miranda, Alex, Travis, and Chris. Third was Trisha, Chad, Natalie, and Lindsay. And fourth was Toby, Darren, Brad, and Peter. And Chris Ryder had high average at 125. So
Okay,
Good
that's
work.
that's impressive for Kingswood. That's about a 132 some anywhere else.
No, Chris is a good bowler.
Yeah,
Very
he
much
is.
so.
He's a good
world
bowler.
champ. He's got as many world
Yep.
championships as you do, Tim Matero.
Really?
Yeah,
How many does he have?
one.
Oh, I've got more than one.
No, the first one doesn't count. We've been over this. Hitting the 4-7 pocket to win doesn't count.
Oh, sure it does. Of course it does. I had a
We
20-pin
should
lead going into
consult
that.
the other man on the lane for that. Consult
Yeah.
Robbie in Vic House.
Yeah, we should.
Ask Davey Somerton. He loves to talk about that.
Yeah, I guarantee it.
I will say before we move on, I do want to give a shout out to Mr. Michael McGinty. He had a day yesterday at Exeter where they ended up clinching first place with one match to go. They have lost one string this year. They are 40. I think it was like 42-2 or something like that.
That is
Wow.
disgusting. In the pro league, that is disgusting. Oh my God.
And
It's all
he
because
did
of
it.
Maddie, probably. Not Mike. It's Maddie.
Yeah.
Well, no, look, Maddie. Honestly, Maddie is fourth in high average amongst everyone. And I told McGinty, I said, you got to consider yourself lucky with the fact is that they wouldn't allow Maddie to be a captain for whatever dumbass reason. I don't know, but you were able to get a 120 average bowler with your first pick.
Yeah.
Good for him. But what I'm giving him a shout out is he did, I know 3 times yesterday, he pulled out a string in the last 2 boxes. He was down 21 to Baker with 2 boxes to go and pulled the string out. He had a
dirty.
Yep,
Wow.
he had a 160. Joey Lister threw a 160 at him, but he threw marks in the McGinty threw marks in the 8th, 9th, and 10th box to pull the string out. And he had one other one that I kind of saw it out of the corner of my eye, and I kind of looked over, and I think he went like spare strike or strike spare or something like that to win his string by single digits as well. And
Wow.
it's for a guy that doesn't normally bowl anchor, meaning in the worlds he doesn't bowl anchor. I know, Marky, on your Friday Night Pro League, he doesn't bowl anchor. He's come a long way, and he's only getting better. And the fact is that his head is getting better, which makes him more dangerous as a bowler. So,
I've been saying it for
Absolutely.
years. For years, I've been watching that boy since he was in Candlepins for Kids and the juniors. When that kid grows up, and when the head, like all of us, when we were younger, we were all significantly harder than we are now on the lanes when we fail or we mess up. When that boy grows up and that head matures, look out. Look out, cook out, like they like to say, because that boy is going to be something amazingly special. I've been saying it for years. It's great to see it happening for the kid. He's been a stud on Fridays. He's the glue that holds a team together. And then when he comes up and he just goes house like this, you guys better get ready to keep seeing this, because this is only going to keep happening for years to come. Years.
I love to
Mhm.
see it.
Absolutely.
I do. I love to see it because, I've said this long, and I've joked with Brian about this, that I'm on the far side of the downward side of my career, meaning I don't have many years left in competitive candlepin. But no, I'm not saying that. I just like to see. I love to see bowlers bowl in that anchor spot, and I love to see people pull out strings. It's fun to watch.
Oh, I thought you were going to go off on your diatribe how you're old and you're going to retire, and we're going to get the violin out so we can play the sad music for
No,
Tim.
I know. I've got a couple more things I need to win. I haven't quite won
that's
everything.
true. You
Mike
need to win a
McGinty,
knockout.
you're the man, baby. You're the man, Mike McGinty. Don't let anybody tell you any different.
Oh, I have a score, a high score to talk about, actually. Tim Hazer last
Yes.
night,
Man, that was
160,
unreal.
136, 149 for a 445.
Nice.
So good bowling for Tim.
Yeah.
Awesome
Unreal.
bowling out of
Very
10.
nice.
I don't know
Very
where that
nice.
was. Do you know where that was, Marky? Where he bowls?
I don't. I thought the last I
I thought
knew
it
Tim.
said Timber, didn't it?
Was it Timber?
If that happened at Timber, that makes it all the more impressive, because that place
Is he going
easiest
down?
place right now.
He's playing timber.
Sorry, I
Well,
can't
good
say
ball
that
for
place
Tim.
without thinking in my head.
Another guy
I'm
who,
going
when he hits the
down.
head pin, the rack
I'm yelling
explodes.
timber.
Right, Marky? When Timmy hits the head pin, that thing explodes.
He's got that heavy ball. He's a big guy, and he throws that heavy ball. It's not the fastest ball ever, but it hits the pins like a wrecking ball. You're gonna start singing wrecking ball now
Aiming
too?
like a wrecking
I knew it was coming.
ball.
I knew it was coming. I knew it was coming. I set him up. You knock him down. That's how we do it.
Okay.
Oh, so let's move on to questions for our guests. And by the way, Amanda, this is a back and forth.
Let's talk
Jesus.
about you. Oh, I thought we were.
Oh, Calvin. Can we turn him on?
Where's my mute?
Who brought Calvin?
well,
How did he get over
yeah.
customs of the internet?
No, I
How did
muted
he
him.
get
We're
over
good.
internet
Oh,
customs?
great! Now we're gonna get the Calvin notepad.
Jesus.
So let's because we do have a ton of questions.
Start with the viewer questions, so we get to those.
Most of these are viewer questions. I didn't
Okay,
write
I
any
was-
questions.
So
I
pick a
didn't-
few good ones. Pick a good one.
I did
Yeah.
not write any questions down for Amanda because
I just want you to start with us, like we always do, and then we never get to viewer questions because that makes people grumpy.
okay. So how come you hate the spread eagle?
Doesn't everyone hate the spread eagle?
She's not wrong.
It was a viewer. It was a
I think
viewer
you're
question.
pretty crazy if you like the spread eagle.
That's true. That's true. Or you're just one of those jokers that likes to run around and go, "How does that happen?" It's actually very easy how that happens.
Yeah,
I know. I
easy how
saw.
that
I
happens.
saw it a lot yesterday.
Oh my God.
You did in the second match. We all did in the second match yesterday.
Yeah. Yep. Seriously though, I guess, Amanda, let's go back in time.
Let's go back.
Let's go back in time. Who kind of Calvin?
At least Calvin's still muted. Let's keep going. We're good.
Yeah.
Who brought you into bowling? Like, what got you into Candlepin Bowling?
My mom, back in the day, she still bowls. So she bowled in the Friday night league at the Big 20 for a long time with Mike O'Brien and Steve Guzzi and all those guys. So I used to go down there and watch her bowl all the time. And I mean, I started at like 5. My house was like 5 minutes from the Big 20. So she got us and my brother into a league when we were really little. So even when I did sports growing up, I always still stayed in the Saturday morning league, and I didn't get to go very often, but I pre-bowled a lot, and but I never stopped really. In college, I stopped a little bit, and I bowled in the summers, but since I was 5, I've bowled in the league basically every year. So, and my mom and I still bowled together. Since I got out of college, we bowled at the Big 20 on Tuesday nights since 2005.
That's cool.
That's awesome. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That's cool. That's
very cool.
Yeah.
I get a chance to bowl with my dad every Wednesday night in the league, and it's
Yep.
something really cool to bowl with a parent in a
Yep,
league.
it's fun.
I got my ass handed to me by my mother and sister a few times bowling in the league.
Well, they
It
were both
happens.
better than you. At least Karen was.
God, I'm muting you two. All right. Marky, it's just you and I against Amanda now.
How you doing, buddy? Why don't you go ahead and read off another one of those juicy viewer questions there for us?
Let's read off another one. So, keeping it back when you were younger, besides the obvious parent being a mentor influencer, who else back then was a kind of a influencer of your game?
Well, I'd have to say Mike O'Brien was probably I used to love to watch him bowl. He threw such a smooth ball. And Steve Guzzi. That's kind of probably where Brooke and I kind of got our attitude from when we were kids. I can't say that I was well behaved when I was a junior bowler. Oh my gosh.
Not too many of us were. That's okay. It's normal. It's normal.
My favorite, honestly though, my favorite Steve Guzzi story is we were bowling a pro tour at Big 20, main pro tour. I'm bowling next to him, and I'm bowling pretty good. He's bowling pretty good, and he throws a big triple. Rack comes down. He gets ready to bowl. He stops, and he re-racks on himself. And I just kind of looked. I said, dude, you're on a triple. What are you doing? He's like, that rack was off.
That doesn't surprise me.
I'm like, dude, you just threw a triple. That rack was off. His next ball was nowhere close to the head pin, by the way. It totally got him out of the rhythm. But it's one of my favorite things. It's like, okay, you just threw 3 really great balls on a rack that was probably off. Because the racks don't just mysteriously, go off by a half an inch or an inch, just mysteriously. It happens over the course of time, and it just, I don't know. I've always laughed at Steve with that one. Just the only guy I know that can ice himself by re-racking in the middle of a big half.
Mike actually came back to the Big 20 a couple of years ago. We bowled on a league together 2 years ago before COVID. He came back for a year, and he bowled at the Big 20. So that was kind of fun.
That's kind. Mike was cool.
He averaged like 120.
Yeah.
He hadn't bowled in a lot of years.
Yep. He's a hell of a golfer too.
Yep.
Hell of a golfer. Along that lines, we have a question here. We're going to get a little deep for a moment, and they would like to know what your most favorite piece of advice that you've been given.
I would have to say, when I got out of college, I bowled in the Can-Am for the first time with Bill Duquette, and I was on a lane with Mona and Charlie Milan. And I always wore my hair back down. And Charlie, I bowled like 2 strings, and I stunk. I was like really nervous because I'd never bowled in it before. And Charlie's like looking at me, and I didn't even know who Charlie was. I had no idea. And he's like, he hadn't said a word to me the whole day. And he's like, you need to put your hair back. And I'm like, excuse me? He's like, you need to put your hair back. And I just blew him off. I bowled another half, went probably 40 or something. He went back to the desk and he got me a hair tie, like a rubber band. And he dangled it right in front of my face. And he's like, put your hair back. I'm like, okay. So I put it back, and then I bowled like a 70 half. And then from there on, I bowled like 120 every game. So I have to say that that was one of the best pieces of advice that I got. And as far as the bowling, I've never, ever since then worn my hair down for a tournament or a league or anything.
No shit.
Mm-hmm.
So let me piggyback off this. This is not a viewer question. This is a Tim question.
Yep.
So if that's, and obviously that's great advice for someone that has hair, what would you say, being the accomplished bowler that you are, what would be the best advice you could give call it a newer bowler, someone that's just coming up into the adult ranks, coming out of the juniors? What do you think would be some of the best advice you can give?
Well, I would say, I wish I knew this back when I was younger. I did a lot of, I would say, personal development in my early 30s. I read a lot of books and I learned about the law of attraction. So negative thoughts attract negative things and positive thoughts attract positive things. And when I was younger and I was in my 20s, even when I played college sports, I was kind of an asshole. I'm not going to lie. And if I'm bowling a singles match against somebody, I was always thinking, if they have a spare shot, I wasn't thinking, like, I was hoping they missed it, basically. And when you have that negative mindset about someone else, guess what happens when you bowl your spare shot? Miss it. It's kind of like karma. Right. So now in my 30s, when someone makes a nice shot, I tell them they make a nice shot. And I congratulate people that, have a good score. I might not beat them. And it's just changed my mindset a lot. And I think that if I had taken that, even like I said, and I talk about when I teach youth sports, I talk about that a lot as well. If you're positive, even about your opponents, then a lot of good things are going to happen to you. And it works. It sounds stupid, but it really has made an impact on my game as an older adult. And like I said, I wish that I had that earlier in my career and earlier, even when I was, playing sports in my youth.
So do you, because you just mentioned that when someone makes a nice shot or when someone makes a spare or something like that, you congratulate them or you say, nice shot or things like that. It's something I struggle with because I rarely see what someone else is doing. I just don't notice it.
Especially even when you're on his team.
I know, but if you throw your second ball and you miss and they are waiting for you to reset, or they've already reset it, they got a spare.
Honestly, I don't pay attention.
What planet are you on?
I learned that from Charlie way back when.
Fine.
Yeah, no, and it's not.
But I'll give you another example. When I bowled in the once a month league in Maine just a couple weeks ago, I absolutely stunk. Okay, I had 320 and then I had 336. But we took, what do we got? 8 points a game. So we only lost 2 matches that whole day. And I bowled anchor, I bowled for Mark Webber, and I bowled anchor. In my 20s, if I bowled a 320 and a 330, I would have been rip shit. And I wouldn't have cared if we would have won or not. Now I have a different mindset. My teammates carried me that day, and I appreciate that. And in the second match, Chris Lawrence that's when he bowled his 403. And I was able to appreciate and celebrate with him when before I would not have been able to do that because I would have been so focused on myself.
I get what you're saying. I guess maybe let me put it a different way. When I'm bowling and when I'm focused, I have tunnel vision. Like I literally struggle to see what's going on around me. I will congratulate someone like when we're done. Absolutely. If they throw a big string, I mean, again, going back to Calvin, as much as I dislike him at the moment, because he brings up 17 pins all the time, as he's laughing now at it. I was the first one that went up and congratulated Davey because he did something totally fucking amazing. It was absolutely amazing. That's sportsmanship.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's something that people learn as they get older and appreciate things a little more.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know where I was going with that because
I get what you're talking about, Tim, because I've heard you talk about it before. Because Kaler does the same thing, Jason Kaler. He is a guy that while he's bowling, will cheer your pins to fall while you're bowling against him. And will tell you how to play a shot while you're bowling him.
I don't
And
do
Tim's
that,
like,
but...
well, no, Tim's like, I don't understand how he knows what's going on, the guy that's bowling him, because I have no clue.
Well, but that's
Tim
good
just-
for you that you can do that. But I kind of
Yeah,
watch what's
that's
going
Tim.
on around me. Not all the time, but I do. And like I said, but that mindset that I used to have was not good. And it affected me. Like I said, and I would bowl a 90 game, we would win by 30 pins and I'd be off kicking the pole because I bowled the 90 game.
Right.
Now I don't do that anymore because I appreciate that my teammates were able to pick me up when I was not my best.
Right.
Yep.
That shows how good a team can really be. If somebody on the team, one of the better bowlers, can chuck a stinker like a 90 and the team still wins the check.
Right.
Like we don't learn that until we do get older.
Right. So I mean that's
why,
like I said, and I teach my kids that now, coaching softball and basketball and whatnot. Like I always make sure I talk about that you congratulate when other teams make good plays or whatever. When someone makes a nice shot, you thinking positively even about the opponent helps you to perform better as well.
And I love the thought of it's the power of positive thinking. Being in sales and things like that for as long as I have, a lot of the trainings that I've gone to and done that, they talk a lot about the power of, it's PMA, power of positive mental attitude.
Right.
Same
That's
thing.
like when you have a team that might not be the best on paper, when they have good chemistry, they're going to win a lot more than because they are able to be positive with each other and pick each other up when that happens. So
Completely
the team on
agree.
paper that's might be expected to win might not, because it's the chemistry that sometimes overtakes the talent.
Yeah, no, I get that. I actually, for the first time, I actually put all the questions down. So I'm just trying to, I do have a question that someone would like to know, that they would like to know if anyone's ever thrown a triple against you in the playoffs of the Can-Ams.
Kevin Grattan. I saw that. Yes, he did.
Okay. But that wasn't
Thanks,
against
Kevin.
you, though.
That
That
is
wasn't against you.
That is an
That was against
amazingly
Charlie. Maybe
randomly
Lynn did it.
specific
I don't
question.
know. See, I don't remember that kind of stuff. Maybe Lynn did it, but I think it was Kevin. He technically did it against Charlie. Maybe Jeff. I don't know.
I remember the triple Charlie threw in the Can-Am. Was that in the semis?
That was the semis of the year
Yeah.
that we won.
That's right.
Was that against Calvin?
No,
Damn
It was
it.
against Doug.
that was against
I
Doug
think.
Smith
Oh, okay.
and Judy.
So what's your favorite bowling alley to bowl in?
I would have to say, well, in Maine, I would have to say Newport.
Shocker.
I used to love Vacation Land, but that's no longer there.
No.
No, Newport was fun when I Brooke beat every single record like Saturday on a 5 o'clock shift, and then I came in at the 9 o'clock shift, and then I beat them all too. No 10 string match had ever been thrown there. So she had them all for about 8 hours, and then I came in.
You guys have the state doubles record at Newport too, don't you?
That's where I got the 10 string record, the state of Maine record too.
What was that? 13 what?
1342.
That's
That's
fantastic.
cool.
That's fantastic bowling.
Mm-hmm.
What's your high single?
182.
Ooh, good string. Did you? Was it one of those?
I beat Amanda at something. Yeah.
Was it one of those strings where you had an outside chance at a 200, or No? Okay.
I didn't even throw. I think my first triple strike was when I was in my 30s.
Really?
I don't throw a lot of strikes.
Oh, you throw a hell of a lot of spares, though.
I do. And I'm more consistent. I don't throw a lot of high games. I don't even remember the last time I threw a 150.
Mm-hmm.
I do. You were bowling with me. Yeah, you were bowling with me. Yay! Just another one where you kicked my ass, and I was okay with it because we made it to the finals, and then we lost the finals.
Cole and Trisha.
Yeah, no one wanted us to win that one.
No.
That's still
I'm used to that.
I know. Let's see. What's a good question? Oh, what is your favorite moment in Candlepin Bowling? What's been your favorite moment?
I would have to say that year that Charlie and I won the Can-Am is one of my favorite moments. I mean, he was 82 years old when we did that. I bowled really well in the whatever you call it, the round robin, and I struggled in the playoffs. When we bowled Judy and Doug, we were down by a lot, and he turned around. I think it was in his 6th box, maybe 7th. And he turned around and I was sitting on the edge because he sits really far forward, or he stands really far forward. And he looked right in the eye and he goes, "Watch this." And I was like, "Watch this." And then he threw 1, and then he threw 2, and then he threw 3. And we ended up taking the string and making it to the final, which was not pretty. I think we won like 210 to 207 or something like that. Like, it was really close. And
still a W.
All of his pins in that last 5 boxes, he won the box by like 1 or 2 pins, and we kept the lead. I think the lead was only like 2, and he kept the lead. It was just impressive to watch. And to be able to do that with him at that age and a Hall of Famer, it was just a really good moment.
That's cool.
And me and Brooke winning or beating that state record was up there as well. I mean, we have been trying to do that we've been bowling together since we were 7 years old. So that was another really good moment for us to do that up in Newport. After all those years, we were so close so many times, like 10 pins, 12 pins, and we never could put it together. But so that was also a good one.
That's cool. That's a Charlie moment.
That is a Charlie moment.
That's a Charlie.
And then after that, he couldn't bowl anymore. They didn't let him bowl.
That's
those
right.
Wonderful rules that come in.
Yeah, the rules. Brian, you had a question?
I did. To piggyback off that, Amanda, you're a very accomplished athlete outside of bowling. What's your favorite non-bowling athletic moment? Because you're an accomplished college athlete as well, so.
I would have to say my freshman year in college, we went to the NCAA tournament in basketball. We were pretty good, but we lost our point guard in the last regular season game, or the last playoff game, the championship game, but we still ended up winning. And then when we went I didn't play a lot my freshman year, but when she got injured in that game, I had my highest point total. I had like 22 points, and in the NCAA game, we got blown out. But it was just a good experience. We went to Ithaca College in New York, so we got to fly there. And, as a Division III athlete, that's something that you kind of dream about. And we were close the next 3 years. We made it to the championship 2 out of the 3 years. But it was quite amazing to be able to experience that. I also went to the Senior League World Series as right before I went into high school in 1996. We made it to the World Series in softball. Back when we were on the radio, we weren't on TV, but we went to Kalamazoo, Michigan, and we did win a game. We beat Canada. We played Florida to start. We lost 10-0. We had never seen anything like Florida. But we beat Canada, and then we lost 5-4 to Illinois, and we ended up 4th in the tournament. So it was pretty cool.
That's very cool.
That's cool. Ithaca is That's a long ass drive. I made that
Yes,
several
it
times.
is. I've
Well, we
made
didn't
that
have
too.
to drive. It was like you
Ugh.
had a certain amount of miles that if it was over that amount of miles, they paid for you to fly. And it was like literally like 13 miles and they let
Yeah.
us fly.
Nice.
Yeah.
So
Nice.
Because once you get over that, you get past Albany and it's like 385
Nothing.
miles to Buffalo, 375 miles to Buffalo. And it's
There's-
every 10 miles
That
is
sign is so annoying.
oh my God. And Ithaca's like halfway there. And it's just, I remember hitting that and I'm like, oh, I'm almost there. 3 hours later, I was still driving. I'm like, where the fuck is this place?
Exactly.
Oh my God. But no, that's cool. That's cool. Calvin, what do you got for questions for Amanda? You got any?
I haven't got any questions for
No?
Amanda. No. No.
Okay.
Calvin knows everything.
Yeah. I'm the all.
And we just let him keep thinking that.
Marky, you got any questions before I go on to some more questions here? Or?
So not really so much a question, but you brought up a little while ago earlier that you also coach like some youth sports and stuff like that. I've done a lot of that too in the past, coaching like Little League baseball and even like some of the bowling leagues and stuff. Talk about like having it being gratifying, coaching your own kids or like other people's kids in a sport that you're good at and being able to like kind of pass that knowledge down and be able to mold like the next ones. Like talk about like, why you do it. Is it gratifying to you? Do you do it, why do you do it?
Yeah, I mean, that's one of the best things that, I mean, as a parent, I mean, I've coached my kids since, I mean, they were little, but not only my kids, but also obviously you coach a team. So you get to, you see the people that have zero experience to the people that are experienced, especially when you're doing Little League and, youth basketball and things like that. Obviously, as they get older, you can, you kind of weed out some of those players that might not have a lot of knowledge, but it's very rewarding. I really enjoy it. I take pride. I mean, I learned a lot. I have a lot of experience, so I try to, pass that on to my kids and other kids, hoping that, I mean, obviously the goal is for them to return. You want them to keep going or, and continue to get better. Like I try to, at least, obviously, like I said, there's a lot of different levels in Little League and things like that, but you're just trying to grow every player. And I'm not just talking about sports either. Like I talk about the law of attraction and things like that. I'm trying to grow them as people too, respecting the game, respecting the other team, respecting themselves, and, just trying to make an impact on them.
Good.
Super cool. And I can attest, I've seen her coach before.
Yep.
She's pretty good. I mean,
not everybody can do it. Not everybody has the
she's
patience to be, especially with a group of like 12 little, like 9, 10-year-olds. Like it gets to be very chaotic, but every once in a while you do see a few of them that start to pick up on some of the things, not just like you were saying, the technical of whatever sport you're playing, but some of the life lessons, some of the mental like discipline and stuff like that, that also gets passed down, not necessarily just teaching a kid how to hit the ball or how to read the backboard right or something silly like that. But you start to see them grow as people over the course of the season.
You see a lot, especially now. I mean, there's so many video games and all those things. Like people don't know how to be social. Right. And that's another thing that I tried to, you take those people that are so shy and they don't say anything to anybody at the beginning of the year. And then all of a sudden by the end, they've come out of their shell and are able to make conversations and make friends that maybe they were having the same problem at school. And you know that you made an impact on them.
There's always one or two of those kids on a team that you see in the beginning. They're the shyest things in the world at the beginning of the season. But if you reach them just right, by the end of the year, everybody's hanging and chilling. They're not sitting by themselves on the end of the bench anymore.
Yep.
That's the gratifying part.
I always like to see how the kids handle, like it's gratifying to see how they make a mistake in the beginning. But if they make that same mistake later on and they handle it better, it's like, that's good. Okay. They learned. Right. Good. Mission accomplished. Okay. I can move on.
I've obviously, like Amanda, I've coached Little League all the way up through high school, and seeing kids, I'm 50 years old and seeing kids that I coached almost 20 years ago. and they're still call me coach. They still talk to his. It's really cool.
Yep.
And I do have a question that, because I've coached my kids, and I know how hard it is to separate coach from dad, or coach from mom, or stuff like that. Do you find yourself being a little harder on the girls? Your girls?
I do. I really take a lot of pride in, like, a lot of times people don't know who my daughter is on whatever team I'm coaching, whether it's Emily or Molly right now, like, except for maybe the name on the back of their shirt.
Yeah.
So I try my best to separate that, like at practice and at games, obviously, but and then obviously once that's over, I'm mom. They call me coach. They don't call me mom at practice and at games. I'm hard on them, but I'm also obviously always come back to being their mom. If they need help with something, they sometimes have a hard time. I think they actually have a harder time separating it than I do.
I was just gonna say that. I almost think that the kids have a harder time, because it happens when I coach my son. I realize that, like, it doesn't work that well. He doesn't see me as an experienced guy who's been doing this for 2/3 of my life. He sees me as dad, kind of coming down on him when he messes up. I almost think they have a harder time, even though we're trying to be gentle about it in a certain way to balance that coach parent thing.
Yep.
I think they have a harder time because all they see is mom or dad kind of like, no, you're messing up. And
right. And sometimes
it's not easy.
I'll tell them, I can obviously read them pretty well, but it's like, okay, this is mom talking. This isn't coach talking. Because sometimes I think that they have a hard time.
Yeah.
I struggle when I first started doing it. I struggled separating, would leave the field and I was coach, and get home and I was dad, and I would struggle with that, and I'd want to talk about the game or talk about the practice, and I quickly realized that was alienating the relationship that we had.
Yes.
So I forced myself. I wouldn't do anything. I wouldn't say anything about anything until he brought it up.
Yep.
I'd let one of the kids bring it up, and then I'd be like, "Do we want to have this conversation now, or is this when you want to wait to practice?" And he's like, "No, I want to talk about it now." And I'd be like, "Okay, here's XYZ type thing." So, I mean, I got a question. I've had this question asked of me, and it's now being asked of you by others. Is, what do you want your legacy to be with bowling? But when you get done, which hopefully is 20 plus years from now, and you've had a long, distinguished career, how do you want to be remembered?
I don't think she'll be able to get that low in 20 years.
I don't know. She works out a lot.
Obviously, I want to be remembered as a competitor. And I want to be remembered as a good teammate. Like I said, back when I was in my 20s, I would have, if someone would ask me what my favorite events would be, I would have said singles with no hesitation at all, because I was in control of my own destiny. But now I've shifted my thinking. I love bowling and team events. I take, like I said, the shift in my mindset has made me like that. Whoops. Sorry.
Oh.
That's a great ceiling.
Yeah.
That's nice.
Made me like that a lot more. But like I said, I am a competitor, but I hope that, like I said, I was not a nice person back when I was in my 20s. So I'm hoping that the shift in my mindset and the way that I act now will be what people remember, not when I was in my 20s. But
that is scary as to how similar. And Brian's laughing because he and I had this conversation.
We didn't talk
I don't know.
about that.
No, Brian and I had this conversation, I don't know, a month or two ago, actually in October, when we were the Exeter once a month. We were coming home, and we were talking about bowling and how do we want to be remembered. It just kind of, because someone had asked me, and I almost, I'm not going to say that was verbatim what I said, but I was like, if you would have asked me when I was in my 20s, early 30s, I would have said, I want to be the guy that won everything. I was a singles bowler. that was me. And I didn't, and I was a dick.
Yeah.
I was. And when I hit like my mid 30s, I had this attitude change. I mean, I still obviously have an attitude when I bowl. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about the attitude of being a teammate and what it means to be a teammate. And my favorite events, like you, my favorite events are team events. And it can be like doubles, a 3-person team, 4, whatever it is. I love having a partner or partners to bowl with.
Yep.
And it's scary how similar to that answer you gave was what Brian and I had that conversation. It's I'm not there yet. I'm getting there. I'd like to think I'm a good team, much better teammate now than I was, 20 years ago.
You're a great teammate, but you were a shitty scorekeeper. You are a horrible scorekeeper.
I freely admit I am not a good scorekeeper. I'm a good cheerer on. I can cheer people on.
You know what you hear from Tim when he's keeping score the majority of the time? What'd you have the last ball?
I'm sorry.
No, you're not.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. Let's see. So, who are or were, wow, I can't spell either. Who are or were some of your favorite partners to bowl with? And if you say Josh Daly, I'm shutting this thing off. I'm just kidding.
Well, obviously, Brooke has been my partner for many, many years. We have an incredible friendship and an incredible connection when we're in the bowling alley. We bowled in league together. I mean, all growing up, and then obviously through many tournaments. I mean, I can't even. I'm gonna cry if I talk about her anymore. But bowling with her is one of the best things that I have ever done. And obviously we're friends off of the bowling alley too. So but she means a lot to me, and bowling with her all these years has meant a lot to me as well.
Yep.
And then obviously Charlie, I mean, I met him obviously in that one tournament I talked to you about the hair thing, but I hadn't talked to him for years. All of a sudden I was bowling in league at the Big 20, and Mike, I don't know if it was Mike or Rick or somebody, comes up to me when I'm in my league and he's like, "You have a phone call." I'm like, "What?"
Yeah.
I have a phone call? They're like, "Yeah,
classic Charlie.
Charlie calling you." And I'm like, well, at first it took me a minute to remember who that was. I'm like, "Hello?" And he's like, "I want you to bowl with me." I'm like, "Okay." He's like, "I'm old and I need you to carry me, but I'd like to bowl with you." That was after his wife got sick. He took a couple years off from the Can-Am and he wanted to come back to it. And he's like, "The only way I could do it is if I bowl with you." So I bowled with him, and it was a great 4 or 5 years that we bowled together, and we ended on a good note. And he taught me a lot. I learned a lot from him. And I was really sad, obviously, when he couldn't bowl anymore, because he still would bowl. I guess they got rid of the rules, and I talked to him this summer, and he was like, "If I can bowl again, I'm going to go to Florida, and I'm going to take my bowling ball, and I'm going to practice in the sand. And if I think I can bowl," he's like, "I want to bowl with you." So
that's awesome.
And obviously, like my ladies international teams, I mean, we had great connections. Tim bowling with you in that last event. I mean, at Exeter, like I think I talked to Jeff Surratt and Sonia a handful of times in my life, and just the connection that we all had in that one tournament. So that's what it is to me now, is making connections and being a good teammate, and bowling with the people that I like to bowl with, and hopefully being successful. But to me, that does, I mean, obviously you want to win a tournament, but it's not always the best reason for me to bowl anymore, is to win.
Yeah, I would agree with you on that. Even though winning is fun, winning, obviously winning is fun, but going with people that you have a connection with and that you enjoy being around, totally worth it to me.
Mhm.
It's totally worth it. I mean, I'd even bowl with Calvin because I enjoy Calvin, even though I try not
you're
to tell him
gonna
that.
in March. You're gonna.
Yeah,
So
you're gonna. Not that you
Yeah.
wanna. You're gonna.
Well,
No, you are.
we'll see. I haven't made up my mind yet.
I don't think I can bowl with you, Calvin.
Yeah, you can. Oh yeah, you can. You'd find a way.
So, Amanda, as we kind of wrap up this evening, what do you have? Do you have any questions for us? I mean, I know that I've been reading a lot of questions for you, but do you have any for us?
Oh, well, I didn't know you were going to ask me that.
Oh, don't say that because I told you. I have a text. I have a text right here.
True.
man, Tim, how's that bus you're driving over and back and over and back?
Feels pretty good. But
His back's never felt better.
Yeah.
How about what are your reasons why you guys are doing this every week? I want to know from each of you why you want to do this every week.
I can tell you why I do it.
Yeah.
I love this game. This game has given me everything in my life. It gave me a family. It gave me a job for the rest of my life. I'm living my dream, running the lanes here. And this is fun, talking to the same knuckleheads each week. We've been friends for years. And this is just fun to like kind of take a step back from the competitive edge of the game and kind of not really make light of it, but just talk about it in a normal way and put it out there for people to see that, like, hey, you know, you might see us competing and being all hardcore on the lanes, but off the lanes, we're the same knucklehead that you are. And we just talk and have fun and mess with each other the same way everybody else does. But we know what we're talking about at the same time. So it's entertaining. We could throw a little knowledge out, and we can have people like yourself on the show here and there to come in and actually who enjoy doing what we're doing too, to come in and say hi. It's totally worth it to the game, to myself personally, the friends here that I got. It's all worth it. Every bit of it.
Calvin.
I thought she was talking about why was you bowling every week.
Oh.
I was like, why do we bowl every week? Well, I don't know.
Well, I don't know why I bowl every week. But
exactly, right?
We all come back.
I think of that every time I throw the ball.
The closer you get to 40, Amanda, the more you'll question it every single week. Trust me.
I only have 6 more months, so.
Yeah. No, I enjoy doing just almost the exact same reason. I enjoy talking about the game. I enjoy, I guess, you know, telling people about the game and telling people who say don't have Facebook, but they listen to their podcasts and stuff like that. They can hear us tell them results and keep them up with what's going on. And we have our fun, like making fun of Tim for an hour. That was probably the most fun I've had in a long time.
It's a good time.
It's just so much fun. And we each know that we can rib each other and do all this stuff, and we can have a fun show every week. Like even when Brian's yelling at Tim before we start, as soon as the show starts, we're just making fun of each other.
Right.
Because Brian's kind of given up on the whole Tim, you're an idiot thing, and we move on and do the show, and we have fun making fun of each other. It's just a fun time. We look forward to it every Monday. So
go ahead, Brian.
It's a way I can give back to a game that's given me so much. Like I have all these friends and these really close friendships and teammates. And I mean, Tim was in my wedding. I bowl with Mark in November now, and Calvin I've bowled with since he started bowling in the Can-Am, and get to see him all the time. And I'm not as good as you other 4 people. So it's a way I can contribute back to a game I love, even though I might not average the highest.
You always put the best effort in, though.
I never throw a pin away. And that's something I tell Tim is you never have to wonder if I try.
That's the most important thing. That is the most important thing.
And I don't even know you that well, but I know that about you.
Tim, why do you do this?
No, I didn't really. Can you mute yourself and then tell that?
Why? Aw.
Wait, Amanda, I got you. Hang on. I got you.
Hold on. Wait.
There he goes. He's done.
I'm
Calvin, it's an international incident. I love it.
Wait a minute. Is this? I have a feeling it's the Mighty Ducks thing from the Hawks
Sorry,
coming. It's
Tim.
not worth winning if you can't win big. Tim, is that it?
Tim's not here right now. He'll be back later. Please leave a message. Oh, hi,
So, hi.
Hi.
So I do this obviously, and everybody knows this because I love to hear myself talk. That's the feedback that I
That's
get.
the only
That
reason.
I do it because the game of Candlepin has been really good for me. Being a competitive person, I had to find an outlet early on because I obviously wasn't going to be dunking basketballs or throwing 95-mile fastballs or
Tim.
anything else.
You're only
Yeah.
5'1". You're not going to dunk a basketball.
I'm 5'5". Get it right.
Muggsy both could dunk, Tim.
I might have shrunk.
5'5" in his heels is what he's saying. Is what he meant.
I'm 5'3".
Friday night.
He puts lifts in his bowling shoes.
Yeah. Every
Jesus.
Friday night, Tim's
Continue.
5'5".
Try to be
Please
serious
continue.
for a second, and these guys got to shit on me.
I didn't say shit.
That was my.
I know. Ultimately, Amanda, it comes down to the fact that I love the game, and it's done a lot of good for me. I'm not going to say I met my wife at the bowling alley because my wife doesn't like bowling. I didn't meet her at the bowling alley, but
I met your wife at a bowling alley.
yes, you did.
I definitely
Yes,
met your
you
wife
did.
in the bowling alley.
I love talking about bowling, and I like to be able to impart the things that I've learned from other people. You know, I've had the luxury of bowling with, Hall of Famers, Charlie Milan, Russ Neely, Al Joy, a future Hall of Famer such as you, Amanda, my sister, Judy. I've had the luxury
Judy is a Hall of Famer.
I know.
Oh, you said future, and then you.
No.
Geez,
No, I meant, yeah, I didn't mean it that she's future. It's just to be able to talk about the game, and it's my way of trying to help the game grow. I don't want to see it die. I don't want to see it, fall back to nothing. So I don't own a bowling alley. I'm never going to own a bowling alley. I'm not a huge fan of the ICBA, even though it does some good things with the game. I just don't know as if they've truly have the best interest of all the bowlers at heart. So Brian and I had this conversation a couple of years ago. We were traveling somewhere to a bowling alley, to a bowling tournament. We were like, let's do a podcast. And we just started talking about it. And so we started it up. And then we were like, you know what? We need other people. And so we got, I don't remember who came first, Calvin or Marky. I think Marky did. And then we were like, we need a Canadian, we need a Canadian presence. And well, hell, let's get hold of Calvin. So ultimately, long-winded way of saying this is the way I want to grow. This is the way I can grow the game or help grow the game.
Mm-hmm.
So is that your team main?
That's
so,
my
okay,
new batting cage.
I knew there was Mets up there for a reason. Like I knew something was good. That's awesome.
So Amanda and Neil have this really cool thing going with. Is it AAU softball?
Yeah.
So AAU softball team main. So they have a couple of teams, and so they'll have individual pitching stuff going on, as well as individual hitting. And I guess I didn't realize that was in the basement of your home.
Mm-hmm.
That's
That's
pretty
cool.
solid. You have a batting
That's
cage in
awesome.
the basement. Like that's pissa. That is pissa.
So
I gotta plug my phone in. Sorry.
no, that's okay. We can wake Neil up. He can join the podcast if he wants.
Oh,
there she is. But now she's muted, so let's see if she can unmute herself.
I doubt it. Oh, look at her
Oh,
go.
Oh, ye
Look
of
at that.
little faith.
So we are gonna wrap up here. We've been about an hour on this recording, and I know it's late for Amanda. She goes to bed at like 7 o'clock at night. You know, she needs her 12 hours of beauty sleep. So, Amanda, thank you for coming on, being a
Thank you
guest.
for having me.
Absolutely. Thank you for coming on.
Absolutely. Thank you so much.
You are, I will say it. I have said it in the past. I will keep saying it. You are the best female in the game of Candlepin Bowling. I am saying number one. I don't care what these other guys. Addie's up there, Jill's up there, Tasha's up there. But in my eyes, and Mario and Lori and Aaron Merrill, I mean, there's a lot of them. In my eyes, having bowled with you, having bowled against you, I will do as the number one female bowler in the game of Candlepin Bowling right now.
Thank you.
So you can, Maddie, you can fight me on this one the next time I see you. Folks, we're going to wrap up. You can send us your questions, your comments, your concerns. You can find us rippingtherackpodcast@gmail.com. You can find us on Facebook and Twitter at Ripping the Rack Podcast. Big Booty Brian can be found on OnlyFans. You can find him there.
He's there.
He's there.
He's there. Don't listen to him.
Oh no, he's got a special going with his butt plugs. Folks.
He's behind a paywall. That's why he have to pay for it, but he's behind a paywall.
Brian, I'm right there with you.
There.
I hate all of you. Not you, Amanda. I hate the men in this room right now.
Brian, where else can they hear us?
Well, they can hear us on Spotify, Anchor, Breaker, iTunes, iHeartRadio, Google Podcasts, and wherever else you listen to your podcast mediums.
Oh, Brian, your dulcet tones just soothe my ears.
Got to be good at something, right?
That's it. That's it. Folks, we appreciate it. Thank you to our guest, Amanda. Folks at Bowling, good luck. Have a good week. We will see you next week.
Calvin's